Did anybody think it was possible to name a top 5 centers with potential and not name one of the 3 Sixers centers? Because I managed to do it. Joel Embiid is a rookie, and me being a weirdo, I don't like to include rookies in these things. I'd rather talk about established players, but Embiid's definitely a beast and the savior of the Sixers. I've talked about Nerlens Noel 1.5 million times here. Too long didn't read. His athleticism, his defense, his rebounding are all great. And I'm just waiting for him to be the lone center on some team so he can be a beast. And then as for the third center on the 76ers, Jahlil Okafor, I've talked about him a lot. Very good post-up player. I question how complete his game can really be, though. So we're not going to be mentioning any of the 3 76ers centers on the top 5 centers with young potential, or whatever the hell the title of this video is. You know what this is. I've done this 4 other times. We're going to do the final one here. Our first one is Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, who gives me a Marc Gasol vibe offensively. He put up 10 points and 7 rebounds in his first year, and the mid-range jumper is real. He shot 45% from there, and having an ability to stretch out the opposing defense and make trouble for big men, that can always be very effective. And his general awareness and basketball IQ of where to be on the floor, the right spot to be in to receive a pass down low or to get a dump off from a point guard. These are little things that make a huge difference when it comes to point production for centers. But the real reason why he gives me the Marc Gasol vibe is his passing. 2.5 assists per game is already very good for a big man. To do it in your rookie season is huge. And I think Jokic could get to a Joakim Noah level-esque playmaking ability at the center spot, and Noah was really the backbone of Chicago's offense for a couple seasons. And if you're someone who can be effective in the pick and pop because of your ability to hit mid-range, and because of your general awareness around the basket to where defenses have to pay attention to you, and you can still make a play, he could be great for the Denver Nuggets. And he has shown some signs as a post-up player, which could also help that out as well. The questions with Jokic are his defense. Is he athletic enough to really be able to move around the floor laterally and provide help defense and perhaps defend on some of the more athletic big men in the NBA? And can he play in the pick and roll? Because of course, that's a huge part of today's NBA. If you can't defend that, you're going to have trouble staying on the floor. But from an offensive standpoint, a very good mid-range jumper, shown signs as a scorer inside, as well as that passing. I like Jokic a lot. Now for the very good, but sometimes mispronounced, at least by me, Jonas Valanciuna of the Toronto Raptors. Being big, strong, mastering the fundamentals, and just out-hustling the next guy can go a long way towards you being really damn good in the NBA. And it starts with his ability to finish inside. He shoots 60% from inside the paint, and he has some of the best hands in the NBA. If Kyle Lowry throws it down there, chances are he's going to catch it, he's going to put a shoulder into you, and he's going to finish over you. And his defense has improved as well. His rim protection is to the point where you actually have to care if he's down there now. He's not going to average a whole lot of blocks, but his ability to move around the floor as well as contest has gotten there. But let's get back to just his overall motor. When other guys are jogging, Jonas is sprinting up the floor, and that type of stuff gets you an extra 4 to 5 points a game, and it also leads to you getting about 3 offensive rebounds per game, which makes your teammates a whole hell of a lot more comfortable as well. So when the Raptors are hoisting up a 3-pointer and they see Jonas down there, I'm sure they just have a little more sigh of relief. Speaking of his overall rebounding, he's averaged about 9 a game for the past 3 seasons, playing under 30 minutes. Now from an overall polish standpoint, he has shown some ability as a post-up player. I don't know if he'll ever be a go-to from down there. But then again, with how hard he works on the court, I'm sure he works just as hard off. Maybe he will become a real post-up presence one day. But what I want to talk about is the mid-range. He shot damn well from 15 feet last season, only attempting a little over 1 a game. Come on, Dwayne Casey, call up some sets for Jonas to take some mid-range and make it even tougher on the defense. The guy also shoots nearly 80% from the free throw line. So Jonas, when you're looking at physicality, being big, a legit 7 feet, his improvement on defense, as well as just giving a crap more than other NBA centers, he's damn good, man. He's only 24 years old. There's a lot of potential in that guy. Now for Myles Turner, as well as his hair for the Indiana Pacers, they've taken their fair share of 15-foot jumpers, nearly 300 of them last season, where he shot around 41%. And that's only his first year. He's going to be a headache for NBA centers for a very long time because they don't want to step out and defend you from out there. And I actually believe he could be a Kevin Garnett style of shooter from in there with the impact he could make. And because he already has the jumper down, I wouldn't be surprised if he develops a face-up game. He just needs to develop the moves. And apparently he really wants to develop said moves, as he's already said he wants to improve on his low post game for the Indiana Pacers. And if he's able to do that, Turner could become one of the best offensive centers we've ever seen because he can already stretch the floor. That was his calling card entering the NBA, but if he can also be a scorer down low as well, how the hell are you going to stop this guy? And while the idea of him being a post-up player combined with that mid-range is scary, you know what's even scarier? Is once he learns how to really hit three-pointers, because you know he's going to. He can already shoot, and we're about to hit 2017. So once Myles Turner can force NBA centers to go all the way out to the three-point line, or to just forget he's out there because they don't want to do it, he's going to be a beast. I mean, just picture all the fast breaks that he can just hang from behind, and NBA centers are not going to be naturally defending him from up there. So he has immense potential as an offensive player, but defensively, he's already a damn good shot blocker. He averaged 1.5 blocks in his rookie season, so he's already got the foundation of someone who can be effective on that side of the floor. The next thing, of course, will be to see if he can really have the defensive instincts to do more than just simply send a shot away from you. It seems like Myles Turner is really going to be a special player for the Indiana Pacers, hopefully on both sides of the floor. Next up is Andre Drummond of the Detroit Pistons. Now, how the hell does a guy who averages 16 points and 15 rebounds end up on here? Well, let me say first that Drummond has mastered the running, jumping, dunking, setting screens portions of being a center. I mean, he's more athletic than the majority of fives out there. He's always a threat for an alley-oop. And then when we talk about his rebounding, I mean, besides just grabbing every single defensive rebound under the sun, he's always liable to grab it once his teammate misses a shot, and he's on pace to being one of the best rebounders that basketball's ever seen. That all being said, one of the better kept secrets in the NBA is Andre Drummond really isn't that great on defense. His rim protection is just not intimidating, and his overall defensive play is just not where you want it to be from a center right now. He's drawn some comparisons to Dwight Howard for his athleticism, but Dwight was in another league when it came to stopping the opponent from scoring. Not only that, but Drummond's offensive game is still pretty raw. His post moves have improved, but they have not gotten to a real difference-making point as of right now, so that's another area he has to improve in. And then, of course, there is also the free throws, which is always an ugly discussion when it comes to Drummond. So while he is fantastic at certain areas of the game, if he really wants to go to the next level, there's definitely some things he still has to improve on, which gives him an immense amount of potential. And then number one, of course, KarlAnthony Towns. If you take all the best parts of each of the centers I just talked about, you basically get Towns. Look at Myles Turner's mid-range jumper. Yeah, Towns has pretty much got that one down. He's already a decent three-point shooter this early into his career. You mentioned Andre Drummond's athleticism. I'd say Towns is like maybe a shade below where Drummond is as an athlete. Remember Nikola Jokic's passing that I raved about? Yeah, Towns is probably going to be a better passer than him. Valanciunas' hands and finishing ability? Towns has got him there too. The guy's a beast, you get it. Whatever you ask him to do on a basketball floor as a big man, it's going to be done. He's probably going to be the top player in the NBA in a couple of seasons. To make a comparison, I feel like Towns reminds me of a modern-day Tim Duncan, and what I mean by that is they don't have the exact same games. You know, Duncan was more about scoring in the post. Towns is a bit more about shooting from everywhere while still being able to score in the post. He's more modern-day in the sense of, like, the moment he walked into the NBA, he was a big-time player, and the things that were necessary to be successful at that time in the NBA, he's already fantastic at. So Towns is a beast. So to recap this bad boy, I think that Nikola Jokic could be the second coming of Marc Gasol, at least on offense. Jonas Valanciunas maybe putting elbows into people and averaging double-doubles for a long time. Myles Turner is probably going to average 20 plus points in the NBA once he can shoot from literally everywhere. Andre Drummond needs to develop a hook shot, bump up his free throws by about 25%, and show some more life defensively, but even then, he's still very good. And KarlAnthony Towns, he's probably going to win like 15 MVPs in a row.